Sanji is one of the most powerful characters in One Piece, and contrary to what we imagined, he possessed a hidden power so immense that it transforms him into a being with abilities comparable to those of ancient gods who were long extinct. However, Sanji inherited these powers. Furthermore, Sanji has shown to possess a wide range of abilities, making him the character with the greatest potential to face and defeat the greatest legends in the world. By the way, when it comes to facing the greatest legends, Sanji has the advantage due to his extraordinarily powerful genetics, something that defies all natural laws. At the beginning of the journey, we knew Sanji as a cook who suffered a great accident, being stranded for several days on an island with a pirate, and both managed to survive. During this survival, the old pirate sacrificed his own leg to ensure the boy had as much food as possible, keeping all the gold, in the hope that they would both escape. They managed to escape, and Sanji felt indebted to the person who had saved him. That's why Sanji was trained by Zeph, a master cook and the owner of a powerful leg. Zeph taught Sanji his fighting style, which is based solely on the use of legs. When the journey began, Sanji was already demonstrating great strength, quickly contributing a lot to the crew and standing out in various battles. Over time, we saw that Sanji was part of the monstrous trio, the three most powerful members of the crew who solved the most dangerous situations by facing the strongest enemies. However, everything we knew about Sanji changed with the revelation of his true origin. The most surprising thing is that our cook, who seemed like just a simple worker on a pirate ship, was actually a lost prince from the kingdom of Germa. Germa is a scientific and military kingdom. Who would have thought? This is what they mean when they say the humiliated will be exalted. However, in his case, the humiliation happened within this family. Yeah, it's better to be a hardworking cook than to live with this crazy family. And in this process, we discovered that Sanji wasn't just a simple cook. In fact, he is a combat machine, a cyborg genetically modified to be the perfect soldier. And this gave Sanji new powers, which we will see in this video. But before that, smash that like button to support the channel. You have no idea how much this helps, especially with this video, which took so much work to summarize, record, and edit. But it was totally worth it, and we have this complete guide on Sanji's powers. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to receive more power guides. Armament Haki. At the beginning of the story, Sanji relied only on his techniques and physical strength, but after the time skip, he drastically evolved his offensive and defensive abilities thanks to Armament Haki. He learned this skill while spending more than 2 years living in the kingdom of the Okamas, where he was forced to learn about Armament Haki. This technique basically consists of an invisible armor that covers the user's body in any way they choose. Typically, this ability is used in two ways, for defense and for offense. On the defensive side, the user can coat their body with this invisible armor to protect themselves from enemy attacks. On the offensive side, the user coats their fists with this invisible armor to deal super powerful blows. Well, in Sanji's case, he doesn't coat his fists, but his legs instead. And if he was already very strong without Armament Haki, imagine how powerful his blows became with this technique. Yep, it's one of the main reasons Sanji is at a level of astronomical strength. Observation Haki. Observation Haki is a skill that allows its user to predict the movements of the enemy. Essentially, it gives the user the ability to sense the presence of other people or objects, even if they are hidden or too far away to be seen. For example, with this ability, Sanji can predict attacks coming from a direction he isn't looking at. He used this technique a lot during the whole cake arc, where right after his failed wedding with Pudding, he dodged a small shot from Charlotte Katakuri. A bit later, when he was carrying Pudding in his arms, she tried to shoot him at point-blank range. However, thanks to Observation Haki, Sanji was able to predict the attack and dodged it. Well, Sanji is already naturally very fast, but with Observation Haki, his combat perception reaches another level. Super strength. Sanji also possesses incredible strength. His kicks are so powerful that once, Eiichiro Oda himself stated that the strength of his kicks is equivalent to breaking 21 wooden boards with a single kick, and this was before the time skip. After the 2-year training period, Sanji became even stronger, to the point where his legs gained extraordinary power. In this form, he became capable of breaking even a pacifist's neck with a single kick, and before the time skip, It took all the Straw Hats working together to take down a pacifist. Finally, with all of his natural physical strength combined with his incredible mastery of armament haki, Sanji easily becomes one of the strongest characters among the Straw Hats. Super speed. Speed is one of Sanji's main attributes. We can even say that his speed rivals Luffy's in his Gear 2nd form. Thanks to his training during the time skip, where he ran tirelessly, his speed increased drastically. An example of this was during the Punk Hazard arc, where Sanji managed to block blows from Virgo, who is considered one of the strongest members of the Don Quixote family. Super resistance. Despite being a pretty skinny guy, Sanji has extraordinary endurance. Even as a child, when he was still considered physically weak, he was able to survive the daily and brutal beatings from his 3 superhuman brothers. In Scipia, Sanji survived a concentrated lightning strike from Enel, who had the ability to unleash lightning with overwhelming power, and this same lightning from Enel had already killed many people easily. Sanji can endure an enormous amount of pain, having learned to withstand the relentless beatings from his brothers during childhood. Even when injured in his fight against Virgo, Sanji continued to fight bravely, despite having some fractured bones. Blackleg style. The Blackleg style is basically Sanji's fighting style. It was taught by his mentor Zeph, who, during his life as a pirate, constantly fought with his legs to avoid wearing out his fists, which he used for cooking. Following the same example, Sanji mastered this combat style, Itines, and became one of the strongest fighters on the seas, using only his legs in battle, Hocho Sabaki. This is a unique technique from Sanji, as it was with it that he fought with his fists for the first time. This happened only once, when Sanji made an exception to his rule of never fighting with his arm. The occurrence happened during his fight on the way to Enies Lobby with Wanze, a member of CP7. This happened because his opponent wore a noodle armor. In other words, if the guy was wearing food-based armor, what better way than for Sanji to use his culinary knowledge to defeat him, right? And it was a complete success. He showed excellent precision and speed while wielding knives, proving to be a high-quality swordsman. Skywalk. This is one of Sanji's coolest abilities. In it, the cook uses the moonwalk, a technique that grants him the ability to kick the air with such force that he gains a boost from the air itself. With this, he creates the illusion that he can fly through the skies, as each time he kicks the air, his body begins to rise to greater heights. The funniest part is how he learned this technique. Essentially, Sanji was able to use Skywalk after running so much during his 2-year training. In other words, the guy was so desperate to escape from them that he had to learn to fly to get away. Anyway, this ability fits Sanji perfectly, as he can combine the full speed boost from Skywalk into his attacks, giving his kicks an extraordinary intensity. Blue Walk. This is a technique similar to Skywalk, which we just saw. However, this one is a technique that allows Sanji to swim much faster in the sea. At one point, it is said that Sanji's speed in the water is so great that he can even match a fishman while swimming. To do this, he kicks the water several times to gain momentum. In this way, he begins to run, achieving an above average speed for a human underwater. So it's the same as Sanji's Skywalk when he's in the sky, but in this case, he uses his powers underwater. According to Sanji, he also learned this technique after running so much during his training. It seems that these guys are really fast. They were so fast that they made Sanji way stronger than before. Facial reconstruction. Yes, you heard that right. In addition to being a cook, Sanji also reconstructs his enemies' faces. He is able to do this simply by kicking someone. This ability was first revealed when Sanji was facing Wanze. During his fight with Wanze, he didn't seem to have control over this ability. In fact, it was discovered by accident. The kicks he delivered to Wanze's face unintentionally reshaped his face little by little until he looked completely different. However, this was reversed when Sanji's final kick to defeat him made Wanze's face return to normal. Shortly after this arc, Sanji used this ability again against Duval, one of the first villains from the Sabaudi Archipelago arc. On this occasion, Sanji intentionally reconstructed Duval's face, driven by anger, because his face was identical to that ridiculous wanted poster of Sanji. So in the heat of his rage, he punched Duval's face to make it change, no longer wanting to look at the face that irritated him so much. Sanji is also capable of deforming faces, as we can see when his younger brother, Yonji, provoked his anger and had the right side of his face crushed by Sanji's punches. To give you an idea, it took a high-tension steel hydraulic press to make his face return to normal. Yes folks, in addition to being a cook, Sanji is a facial esthetician and knows how to do facial harmonization. Would you go to Sanji's office for a facial harmonization? Party table kick. This is one of his classic techniques. In it, Sanji supports himself with both arms on the ground and then begins spinning his feet with such speed that he hits multiple enemies with a single strike. This is a very powerful attack, as he concentrates all his intensity and force into one blow. Just watching this technique brings a sense of nostalgia. Double Jamble. This is a very stylish technique from Sanji, where he wraps his leg in flames to deal more damage to his enemy. To do this, he heats up his leg, adding extreme heat to the impact of his kicks. As a result, due to the high temperature of his attacks, Sanji has the ability to burn his opponents. It is said that the heat of his attacks is so intense that, with contact, even for just a second, he can set a person on fire. The technique was so powerful that it even knocked down Luffy during a brief fight between them. Of course, we should point out that Luffy let Sanji attack, but let's face it, not just anyone can knock down Luffy. However, it seems that Double Jamble put strain on Sanji's legs. During a confrontation against a pacifista, Sanji mentioned that if he used the attack once more, his legs would break. Nevertheless, it's a fact that this form is extremely powerful. Hell Memories. This ability is literally Sanji's memories of hell, as it's a consequence of his worst memories. As soon as he recalls the 2 years he spent on the Okama Island, his body begins to cover itself with flames. This technique is very useful because everything he touches ends up causing damage. So, can you see the power of this ability now? The guy simply awakens the powers of the Mera Mera no Mi just by remembering his friends. Bienkut, Grill Shot. This is another fire-based technique Sanji uses. In this case, he wraps his leg in flames, and when he hits the enemy, it leaves a mark that looks like a burnt grill. He used this technique during his brief fight with a giant octopus while heading to Fishman Island. Stealth, Black. This is not an ability of Sanji's, but rather a suit prepared by his family specifically for him. With this suit, Sanji gains various extraordinary attributes that make him one of the strongest in this new generation. First, his physical strength is elevated to the extreme. In Wano, we saw Sanji use his suit to fight Page 1. After taking a huge hit, Sanji was thrown far away but suffered no damage at all. In addition to increased resistance, Sanji gained more agility to move, fly, and enhance the efficiency of his kicks. The suit is also equipped with fire resistance, which is very useful in various situations. It works like a bulletproof vest, making Sanji immune to any attacks from firearms. The boots of this suit have accelerators capable of launching a person at incredible speeds, as well as allowing him to fly without trouble. Finally, this suit also grants him the ability to become invisible. Yep, I guess this is the only power Sanji doesn't naturally have. However, it's a shame we won't see this suit anymore, as Sanji destroyed it. Lineage Factor. However, beyond the abilities of the suit, Sanji also possesses the lineage factor. And my friends, this is where he turns into a true monster. Remember when I mentioned at the beginning of the video that Sanji wasn't born with superhuman strength like his brothers? Well, during the battle against Queen, after using his suit's powers intensively, the lineage factor begins to awaken in Sanji's body. With this, he starts to become a full-fledged superhuman. His body begins to manifest genetic modifications similar to his brothers. Although Sanji rejected the path of becoming an emotionless soldier for Germa and destroyed the suit to avoid further modifications, he accepted these new powers because he needed the strength. He essentially acquired such brutal resistance that even Queen couldn't harm him. Seriously, Queen attacked Sanji with all his might, but he didn't even flinch. And remember, Queen has such immense strength that he knocked out Big Mom herself, so imagine the level of resistance Sanji's body must have reached. His physical strength was also elevated to the extreme, as Sanji displayed notable superiority by easily defeating Queen. Well, here's a power I really want to see in future arcs. Ifrit Jambe. Ifrit Jambe is a more powerful version of Diable Jambe, developed by Sanji during the battle against Queen on Onigashima. After awakening his lineage factor, he realized he could combine this new power with his Diable Jambe to create an even stronger technique. By merging the resistance of his exoskeleton with his armament Haki, Sanji's legs become capable of withstanding flames even hotter than those of the Diable Jambe. The flames of Ifrit Jambe are so hot that they turn blue, producing flames resembling Marco's Phoenix fiery bird. With this, he creates attacks that are fast and hot enough not only to burn his opponent but also to surprise them due to the speed of his blows. As a result of this powerful technique, Sanji executes an impressive combo using the Ifrit Jambe. The attack is a fiery and explosive kick aimed at the center of the opponent's body, launching them far away with a powerful spiral explosion. This technique is so strong that it managed to send Queen flying after a devastating series of kicks. Factor of Wisdom. This power isn't Sanji's, but it's a factor you can awaken by being a true One Piece fan who knows everything about the series. A complete guide to Sanji's powers isn't found just anywhere, so subscribe and activate notifications to receive more guides. By the way, there are 2 videos playing on the screen. Both are spectacular. Click and I guarantee you won't regret it.